William Wilberforce. You may have heard that name. Very influential British parliamentarian when it came to the abolition of slave trade. You know, when he was on a train journey, God spoke to him through the reading of a book, and he gives his life to Christ. And at that point, God clearly gave him certain tasks that he had to do. One was abolition of the slave trade in England. Second was to work on the morals of the people because there was so much corruption in society then. He went about doing his tasks. He kept trying to get support to pass a bill against slave trade, but slave trade brought the maximum money into British economy those days. It was not going to be easy. He kept trying year after year after year. Finally, at one point, he said, I'm going to give up. I've tried enough. It's not working. Maybe I should give up. At that point, he gets a letter from his pastor who says, hey, don't you dare give up. Hang in there. Just like Esther, just like Daniel, God has a plan in your life. You stay put, run the course. So there was a documentary that came on his life, and that was called, the title was Amazing Grace. Why was that title given? Because his pastor, John Newton, wrote that famous hymn, Amazing Grace. So that was the title of a documentary on William Wilberforce. Because he then stayed the course, eventually saw the abolition of slave trade. Few days before he died, he also saw another bill for emancipation of the slaves. The impact was so great that it would have repercussions even in North America under Abraham Lincoln later on. Here's the point. You and I talk about amazing grace on justification from sin. You know God's amazing grace. I am saved. My name is in the book of life. God's amazing grace, I'm forgiven. God's amazing grace, I'm part of the church. But that's the first part. The second part is, do you experience God's amazing grace in fulfilling God's vision for the world? In your own corner, of course. When you talk of amazing grace, is it about the past or is it about the present? Is it about forgiveness from sin? Or is it about enabling grace to do His will today, this week, this year? Otherwise, we are experiencing part of amazing grace. His plans in this world. As my chaplain in college used to say, there is no unemployment in God's kingdom. All of us have work to do. The culmination of Christian salvation is Christian service. We are not saved by our good works. We are saved by grace, Ephesians 2. But the same chapter, the next verse says, we are saved unto good works. So we are saved so that we can serve.